Well, if the past couple of weeks have taught us anything, it's that our politicians have read Section 44 of the Constitution about as carefully as I read iTunes' terms and conditions. I mean, you hit I agree one too many times, then all of a sudden you end up spending every second Sunday making Happy Meal toys in a Beijing factory. But while it's clear we don't want our politicians to be dual citizens, what's less clear is what we do want our politicians to be. Because there are almost no job specifications to becoming a politician. And that's so that basically anyone can be a politician. Emphasis on basic. But it's actually great that almost anyone can be a politician, except that almost anyone isn't. Because while Parliament's improved in terms of representation of Indigenous Australians, the representation of gay and lesbian Australians, oh, come on, we are above that sort of cheap innuendo, okay? Thank you. The representation of gay and lesbian Australians, and the representation of Christopher Pines, it could still be a lot more diverse. I mean, for starters, if the lower house was 100 people, then in a perfect world, there would be 50 women. And given that the lower house is in fact well over 100 people, why are there still only 43 women? Oh, quotas are the problem. No, you are. And the other problem is, obviously, this Parliament is also about as white as season 5 of The Bachelor. But while those issues of representation are a problem, on a separate note, I'd like to focus on the professional backgrounds of politicians. As you can see from this graph, a lot of them are lawyers. And while I'm all for lawyers being employed in the building that changes laws, they do seem about as overrepresented as Natalie Imbruglia on Coles Radio. But there's another problem, as Ian Walker pointed out. If you take our Parliament, then take out anyone who was a student politician, anyone who's worked as a political staffer, and anyone who spent more than 5 years volunteering in political roles, you'd only have 20 politicians left. So while it's not written down anywhere, it seems there's just one job requirement to becoming a politician: sell your soul and forsake all your hopes and dreams and spend every minute of your life working out how to become one. Just think of yourselves as Gollum, and the ring is a career in politics. And that's a real problem, because it gives us politicians like Christopher Pine, who's been in Parliament for over 20 years with a list of successful policy changes as long as my tolerance for Christopher Pine. Or Wyatt Roy, who entered Parliament aged 20 with nothing more than a can-do attitude and an incomplete political science degree. That's right, a university dropout from political science was still the closest thing the coalition's seen to an actual scientist in decades. And Sam Dastyari, who's famous outside the Labor Party for his memes, but inside the Labor Party for successfully branch stacking at 16, being the youngest person ever in charge of the New South Wales Labor Party, and being a power broker by 26. And while all that's impressive, albeit in a terrifying Cersei Lannister kind of way, ask yourself, how do any of those skills make you the right person to be in politics? Because all those skills do teach you is self-preservation. I mean, remember that time Sam Dastyari needlessly announced his position on the South China Sea, and that position was at odds with everyone else, and then we discovered that a Chinese donor had paid some travel and legal bills for Sam Dastyari? Well, inexplicably, the idea that an Australian politician's views could be basically bought by foreign money cost him 5 months on the sidelines. Because, you know, memes. My point is, how have we ended up with a political system that seems to lock out doctors, teachers, scientists, tech heads and nurses? Hell, I take singer-songwriters and beat poets at this point, right? They cannot be any worse than the current lot. And that's saying something, because I like beat poets as much as the next person, in that I don't really like them at all. Because it doesn't have to be like this. Look at Ben Chifley, who as post-World War II Prime Minister established the Snowy Mountain Scheme, created the forerunner to Centrelink, the PBS, gave federal grants for social housing for the first time ever, and founded Qantas in 4 years, and he was a train driver. I'm just saying, a little more diversity in the backgrounds of our politicians could be a good thing. Although, maybe we could look at a ban on fish and chip shop owners just for the medium term.